Stop everything you are doing and listen to me closely. I do not care what distractions are currently whispering at you from the corners of your life. I do not care what tasks await you, what doubts are murmuring in your mind, or what excuses you have dressed up as responsibilities. You must hear this right now because the world you seek to build is already watching to see if you will finally believe what heaven has already decided. You must understand that we are not here to have a casual conversation about motivation. We are here to conduct a rescue mission for your potential. Most men and women walk this earth in a state of deep hypnosis. They are physically awake but spiritually asleep. They are caught in what I call the Great Drift. They move through their days on autopilot, reacting to life rather than commanding it. They wake up, they go to work, they pay bills, they seek temporary comfort, and they sleep, only to repeat the cycle until the grave. This is not living. This is a slow death of the soul. I am asking you to pause the machine of your life for just a moment and look at the trajectory you are on. If you do not change your course today, where will you be in 5 years? Will you still be asking the same questions? Will you still be fighting the same battles? Will you still be waiting for a permission slip that never comes? You must realize that the frustration you feel in your gut is not anxiety. It is not depression. It is your own potential screaming to be released. It is the voice of infinite intelligence trying to break through the hypnotic rhythm of your mediocrity. You act as though you are waiting for a sign to begin your life. You say you are waiting for the economy to improve, or for your children to grow up, or for your bank account to stabilize. You are lying to yourself. You are not waiting for conditions to change. You are hiding from the responsibility of your own power. You were chosen. I do not use that word lightly. You were not picked from a crowd like a winner in a lottery. Nature does not gamble. The universe does not roll dice. You were chosen by design. Consider for a moment the sheer mathematical impossibility of your existence. Scientists and statisticians have calculated that the odds of you being born, exactly as you are, at this exact moment in history, are 1 in 400 trillion. You have a better chance of winning every lottery on Earth simultaneously than you do of existing. Yet here you are. You are breathing. You are thinking. You are conscious. Do you honestly believe that the force that hung the stars in the void, the intelligence that taught the rose how to bloom and the planets how to spin, went through all that trouble to create you without a purpose? To believe you are an accident is the greatest insult you can offer to your Creator. You are a masterpiece of biological and spiritual engineering. But like a masterpiece locked in a dark attic, you have allowed dust to settle on your dreams. You have allowed the opinions of small-minded people to define your reality. You walk past this message today like it is just another stirring of the wind, but I tell you, it is a summons. If you ignore this, you will wander another year in silent frustration, asking questions that have already been answered and searching for permission that was granted before you were born. You say you are not sure what God thinks of you. I am telling you that God has already voted. The fact that you have breath in your lungs is the vote. The fact that you have a desire in your heart is the proof. Desire is not a torture device. It is a navigational system. The very fact that you can imagine a greater life is proof that you have the capacity to realize it. Nature never implants a desire in the human heart without also providing the means to potentialize it. The oak tree sleeps in the acorn. The bird waits in the egg. And your destiny waits in your desire. But you have been taught to suppress it. You have been taught to be realistic. I am here to tell you that being realistic is the fastest road to mediocrity. The men and women who shaped history, the likes of Henry Ford and Thomas Edison and Andrew Carnegie, were never realistic. They were faithful. They understood that reality is something you create, not something you accept. They refused to drift. They refused to let fear dictate their boundaries. Do you understand what happens when a man ignores the call? He doesn't just miss an opportunity. He forfeits his divine appointment. I have seen men do it. I have seen brilliant men, talented men, men who could have led nations or fed thousands or built legacies, wither away because they chose the lie of delay. They chose the comfort of doubt over the risk of faith. And so they died with their power still buried beneath their indecision. You think God says yes with thunder and lightning? You are waiting for the sky to part and a booming voice to command you? No, that is not how infinite intelligence operates. It whispers. It speaks in the quiet urge that tells you to write that book. It speaks in the restless energy that tells you to start that business. It speaks in the dissatisfaction you feel when you settle for less than you are worth. That dissatisfaction is holy. It is your spirit rejecting a life that is too small for it. The man who hears that whisper and walks forward becomes unstoppable. But the man who needs everyone to agree before he moves is already defeated. You are looking for consensus in a world that is addicted to the status quo. You will never find it. If you wait for your friends and family to approve of your dreams, you will wait until your funeral. They cannot see what you see because the vision was not given to them. It was given to you. It is your responsibility to nurture it, to protect it, and to bring it to life. Most men walk the earth like orphans. They act as if they don't belong here. They apologize for their ambition. They shrink back when they should stand tall. They believe they must earn their right to exist through suffering and shame. That lie ends right now. Because the truth is that you were not a mistake. You were not overlooked. You were chosen not because of your works, but because of your worth. Your design was divine. Yet divine design is not enough. A man must recognize it. He must claim it. He must walk in it. Many are born with favor but die as failures. Why is this? It is because they waited for permission instead of obeying the call. They asked men for approval when God had already said yes. The voice of your Creator is not a voice of hesitation. It is a voice of command. It does not ask if you feel ready. It says go. And only those who move forward without seeing the full staircase will ever walk into the fullness of their calling. You must stop thinking like you are ordinary. Ordinary is a construct of society designed to keep you manageable. Ordinary is a cage you have built for yourself out of the bars of other people's expectations. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. You were born to solve a problem that only you can solve. You were born to sing a song that only you can sing. When you suppress your greatness, you are not being humble. You are being disobedient. You are robbing the world of the gift you were sent here to deliver. Imagine a surgeon who refuses to operate because he is afraid of making a mistake. You would call him negligent. Yet you carry a cure for someone else's problem, whether it is in your business, your art, or your leadership, and you refuse to deliver it because you are afraid of being judged. That is spiritual negligence. This is your turning point. This is your line in the sand. This is the moment you stop pretending that the fire inside you is random. It is not random. It is a signal. It is a beacon calling you home to your true self. Today demands a response. You cannot unhear this message. You can reject it, you can ignore it, but you can no longer plead ignorance. You know now that you are drifting, and you know that the only cure for drifting is decision. The universe rewards the decided mind. It bends to the will of the man who knows where he is going. The drifter is pushed around by every wind of circumstance, but the man of purpose cuts through the storm. You must sit still, be silent, and hear every word that follows in this presentation as if heaven itself is instructing you, because it is. We are going to dismantle the lies that have held you back. We are going to unlock the mental shackles that have kept you small. But first, you must agree to wake up. You must agree to stop hitting the snooze button on your life. You must accept the terrifying and liberating truth that you are powerful beyond measure. The world you seek to build is waiting for you to build it. The person you want to become is waiting for you to embody him. There is no more time for hesitation. The clock is ticking, and every second you spend in doubt is a second stolen from your destiny. You were chosen before you were known. You were chosen before you were doubted. You were chosen before you even knew what doubt was. Now you must choose yourself. You must align your will with the will of the Creator and step out of the shadows. The light is on you. The stage is set. The script is written. But you are the actor who must deliver the lines. Stop waiting for the fear to leave. Fear is merely the shadow of courage. Walk through it. Stop waiting for the path to clear. The path is made by walking. This is the awakening. This is the end of the drift. This is the beginning of the life you were promised. Now that you have awakened to the reality that you are drifting, we must confront the barrier that keeps you paralyzed. We must speak of the law of sanction. This is the spiritual principle that governs who moves forward and who stays behind. You act as if you are waiting for God to say yes to your dreams. You are looking for external signs. You want the bank account to grow before you start the business. You want the applause before you give the speech. You want the guarantee before you take the risk. You have the equation entirely backward. You are operating under a delusion that is robbing you of your life force. The delusion is that the universe is withholding success from you until you prove yourself worthy. The truth is far more confronting. Infinite intelligence has already said yes. The moment the thought was planted in your mind, the sanction was granted. The moment the desire was felt in your heart, the resources to achieve it were created in the invisible ether. You must understand the nature of the universe in which you live. It is a universe of law, not luck. The law of success dictates that every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. But a seed is useless if it remains in the packet. It must be planted. And the only way to plant the seed of your potential is through immediate action. You are waiting for a permission slip from a world that does not know your destiny. You are asking your neighbors, your family, and your coworkers if they think you are capable. Why are you consulting people who have never built what you want to build? Why are you seeking validation from those who are themselves drifting? To ask for permission when God has already given you a command is an act of spiritual disobedience. Let us look deeper into the mechanics of this hesitation. When you hesitate, you are doing something very specific with your energy. You are sending a vibration of doubt out into the ether. You are broadcasting a signal to the infinite intelligence that says, "I do not trust you." You are saying that the vision you received is not enough evidence for you. And the universe, which operates on the law of attraction and correspondence, responds to that signal with absolute precision. It gives you more reasons to doubt. It gives you more obstacles. It reflects your own uncertainty back to you as physical circumstances. This creates a feedback loop of failure. You doubt, so you wait. You wait, so nothing happens. Nothing happens, so you doubt more. You must break this cycle today. You break it by understanding that the desire itself is the sanction. The hunger you feel for a better life is the proof that the meal exists. Nature does not give a bird the instinct to fly south if there is no south to fly to. Nature does not give you the hunger for greatness if greatness is not possible for you. The urge is the evidence. Repeat this mental command until it sears itself into your brain. I act like infinite intelligence has already said yes. I no longer wait for permission. You must realize that the man who moves before he sees the path is the man who commands the universe to obey. This is not reckless. This is the highest form of faith. Faith is not closing your eyes and hoping for the best. Faith is a sixth sense. It is the ability to see the invisible structure of your success before the brick and mortar have been laid. Faith is seeing what you believe rather than believing what you see. The drifter believes only what his eyes can see. He is a slave to his five senses. If his bank account is empty, he believes he is poor. If his critics are loud, he believes he is wrong. But the chosen man, the man who understands the law of sanction, operates on a higher faculty. He looks at an empty bank account and sees a temporary vacuum that must be filled by his service. He hears the critics and interprets their noise as confirmation that he is disrupting the status quo. Let us consider the man who embodied this law perhaps better than any other in the industrial age, Henry Ford. Here was a man with little schooling, no great capital, and no social standing. He was surrounded by people who called him a dreamer. He was told by the smartest engineers of his time that his vision for a V8 engine cast in a single block was an engineering impossibility. They told him it could not be done. Logic said no. Experience said no. The experts said no. If Ford had waited for the sanction of the world, we would still be riding horses. If he had waited for a consensus, he would have died an unknown mechanic. But Ford operated on a different frequency. He did not ask the engineers if it was possible. He commanded them to do it. When they returned 6 months later and said it was impossible, he said, "Do it anyway." When they returned a year later with no results, he said, "I want it, and I will have it." He acted as if the outcome was already a fact. He tapped into the master key of success. He knew that if he could hold the image in his mind and back it with the fire of persistence, the physical world would have to bend to accommodate his vision, and it did. The secret was not in the steel or the machinery. The secret was in the sanction he gave himself. You must stop tiptoeing through life hoping to make it safely to death. You must stomp. You must march. You must step into your purpose with the heavy stride of a giant. Why does this matter? Because your indecision is not a private matter, it is a theft. When you wait, you are stealing. You are stealing from the generation that follows you. If you fail to act, your children inherit your confusion. They inherit your timidity. They inherit your unfinished business. If you fail to break the chain of poverty and fear, you shackle them with it. But if you walk in power, they inherit your faith. They inherit a blueprint for courage. That is the weight of being chosen. It is a heavy responsibility, but it is a glorious one. A refusal from a banker means nothing. A rejection from a spouse means nothing. A sneer from society means nothing. When the architect of the universe has already drafted the blueprint of your success, the opinions of men are like dust on a scale. You must learn to treat the doubts of others with a detached indifference. They do not know your assignment. The voice of your Creator is not a voice of hesitation. It is a voice of command. It does not say, if you feel like it. It says go. It says build. It says speak. Only those who move forward without seeing the full staircase will ever walk into the fullness of their calling. You are likely waiting for the fear to subside before you act. You think that courage is the absence of fear. This is a lie. Courage is action in the presence of fear. The fear will never leave you as long as you are growing. Fear is the border guard of your comfort zone. When you feel fear, it means you are standing at the edge of your known world, about to step into the territory of your expansion. Do not retreat. That fear is a signal that you are facing the right direction. The man who stays in safety feels no fear, but he also feels no life. He is slowly rotting in the coffin of his own comfort. You must draw a line in the sand today. You must decide that from this moment forward you will be your own sanctioning authority. You will not ask if you are good enough. You will assume you are good enough, because you were created by perfection. You will not ask if the time is right. You will make the time right by your decision to move. The universe is fluid. It is malleable. It responds to the man with a decided mind. When you are definite, the world makes room for you. When you are vague, the world ignores you. Indecision is the seedling of fear. Indecision crystallizes into doubt, and the two blend together to become the lethargy that kills your soul. You must decide. Consider the metaphysics of the yes. When you act as if the success is already yours, you align your vibration with the frequency of that success. You become a magnet. You stop chasing opportunity, and you start attracting it. This is why the rich get richer, and the confident get more confident. It is not just about resources. It is about the law of sanction. They have sanctioned themselves to be wealthy. They have sanctioned themselves to be powerful. They move through the world with an assumption of victory, and the world, which loves a leader, yields to them. You have been playing the role of the follower. You have been playing the role of the victim. You have been waiting for someone to save you. No one is coming to save you because you have already been given the power to save yourself. The rescue party is in the mirror. So I ask you right now, will you continue drifting, or will you sit up and focus your spirit? Will you say with every fiber of your being that God already said yes? This is the moment you stop pretending that the fire inside you is random. It is a divine signal demanding a response. Most men walk the earth like orphans, believing they must buy their place in the world with suffering. But that lie ends now. You were not a mistake. You were chosen. Divine design is not enough. A man must recognize it and claim it. Many are born with favor, but die as failures because they waited for permission. Do not insult your Creator by living like an accident. The time to agree with heaven is now. You are not a seed in the wind. You are not a product of fate. You are not waiting for a divine vote. The decision was already made before you drew your first breath. The only variable left in the equation is your consent. Will you consent to your own greatness? Will you consent to the hardships that come with growth? Will you consent to the loneliness of leadership? It is easy to be a drifter. It is easy to complain. It requires no effort to be average. But to be the master of your fate requires a hardness of mind and a softness of heart. It requires you to look at the invisible and call it real. It requires you to move when every logical bone in your body says stop. This is the law of sanction. You permit yourself to win. You authorize your own success. You sign your own permission slip. And once you do that, Once you truly accept that the yes has already been spoken by the highest authority in existence, then nothing on this earth can stop you. You become a force of nature. You become the captain of your soul. Now, hold this feeling of certainty. Hold this posture of command, because in the next section we are going to give this energy a specific target. We are going to talk about the definite chief aim. But for now, sit in the power of your own permission. You are sanctioned. You are authorized. You are free to move. We have established that you are awake, and we have established that you have the divine sanction to succeed. Now we must move from philosophy to the hard steel of practicality. We must address the single greatest reason for failure in the world today. It is not a lack of talent. It is not a lack of education. It is not a lack of money. The primary cause of failure is a lack of a clearly defined purpose. We call this the definite chief aim. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. You cannot arrive at a destination if you do not have a map. And yet, 98 out of every 100 people are drifting through life without the slightest idea of where they are going or what they truly desire. They are like ships without rudders, pushed around by the winds of circumstance, hoping to drift into a port of success. But I tell you now that no ship ever drifted into a safe harbor. It must be steered. Most men and women, when asked what they want, will give vague, nebulous answers. They say they want to be successful. They say they want to be happy. They say they want to be rich. These are not aims. These are wishes. These are complaints about their current condition dressed up as goals. Nature hates vagueness. The universe cannot fulfill a request that is not specific. If you go to a ticket counter and ask for a ticket to somewhere nice, you will not go anywhere. You will stay exactly where you are. To move the forces of infinite intelligence on your behalf, you must be specific, you must be definite, and you must be obsessed. A definite chief aim is not a casual hope. It is a consuming obsession that dominates your thoughts by day and your dreams by night. It is a specific objective that you have decided to attain and for which you are willing to give your life. You must understand the mechanics of how thought becomes reality. Your mind is a broadcasting station. It is constantly sending out vibrations into the ether. When those vibrations are scattered, weak, and changing every hour, the return signal is chaos. This is why your life feels chaotic. One day you want to be a business owner, the next day you want security, the next day you are afraid. Your subconscious mind is confused. It does not know which order to obey. But when you fix your mind on one single definite purpose, and you hold that purpose with the fire of emotion, you create a laser beam of mental energy. This beam cuts through obstacles. It organizes your subconscious mind. It alerts the reticular activating system in your brain to spot opportunities that match your aim. Suddenly the things you need to succeed begin to appear. They were always there, but you were blind to them, because you had not told your brain what to look for. This brings us to the first practical requirement of the definite chief aim. You must write it down. This is not a suggestion for better organization. This is a spiritual requirement. When you take a thought, which is invisible and intangible, and you write it on paper, you are performing the first act of creation. You are transmuting the invisible into the visible. You are dragging a dream out of the ether and giving it a physical body in the form of ink and paper. Until you write it down, it is merely a wish. Once you write it down, it becomes a contract with yourself and with infinite intelligence. You must state exactly what you want. Do not say, "I want more money." State the exact amount. Do not say, "I want a better job." Describe the position, the duties, and the service you will render. You must also state exactly what you are willing to give in return for this reality. There is no such thing as something for nothing. That is a lie of the gambler and the thief. You must define the service you will render, the sacrifice you will make, and the price you will pay. But writing it down is only the beginning. Now we must discuss the terrifying commitment required to achieve it. You must burn all bridges behind you. There is a story from history that perfectly illustrates the psychology of the definite chief aim. A great warrior led his army across the ocean to conquer a foreign land. His enemy was powerful, and his own soldiers were outnumbered and afraid. When they landed on the enemy shores, the soldiers looked back at their ships as their only safety, their only way home if things went wrong. The warrior saw this fear in their eyes. He understood that as long as they had a way to retreat, they would not fight with their full power. So he gave an order that defied all logic. He ordered his men to burn their own ships. Imagine the scene. The soldiers stood on the beach and watched their only means of escape turn to ash and sink into the ocean. The warrior turned to them and said that now we have no choice. We win or we perish. There is no retreat. There is no going back. You must do the same with your life. You have too many safety nets. You have too many plan Bs. You are keeping one foot in your comfort zone while trying to step into your greatness with the other. This divide destroys your power. As long as you know you can retreat to your old life, you will not fight with the ferocity required to build the new one. The subconscious mind only exerts its full power when it believes that survival is at stake. When you cut off every avenue of retreat, when you tell yourself that there is no other option but success, a hidden power within you is unlocked. It is the survival instinct transmuted into the success instinct. You become dangerous to your obstacles. You become a force that will not be denied. Indecision is the enemy of the definite chief aim. Indecision is a disease. It is the habit of leaving doors open just in case. Close the doors, lock them, throw away the key. The man who is definite and committed becomes a beacon for opportunity. He becomes dangerous not to others, but to his own limitations. You must remove all backup plans. You must act like your very soul depends on your decision, because it does. The moment you commit fully, you seal your alliance with infinite intelligence. Walk like a man who cannot lose. For the man who truly walks with divine favor acts with an unshakable confidence, even when the world shouts otherwise. This confidence is not arrogance. It is obedience to the divine appointment you have accepted. But be warned that indecision is a silent rebellion against God's assignment. It is the thief of time, the enemy of faith, and the destroyer of vision. It masquerades as caution, but is in truth fear dressed in polite clothing. The chosen man is not one who is perfect. He is the one who moves with courage in the direction of his purpose. He falls, he rises, he stumbles, but he never surrenders his decision. His soul is a fortress built on determination. Exercise this power now. Write your definite chief aim as if it were a divine instruction, not a mere wish. Post it where you will see it daily. Read it aloud morning and night. Let it sink into every fiber of your being until it is as real as the air you breathe. Every moment spent away from your purpose is a moment lost forever. Every delay invites the shadows of doubt to grow, and every hesitation weakens the link between you and your destiny. To delay your decision is to delay your destiny. Remember that the universe respects the man who commands. It responds to the man who declares. Your decision is a spiritual declaration, a public act of faith that sets the wheels of favor in motion. Think not that this decision is easy. It is the hardest thing a man can do. To cut away the safety nets, to burn the ships, to close the doors behind you, and walk forward blind requires a fierceness of spirit few possess. But the reward for that fierceness is beyond measure. Say now that I decide once and for all. I remove all hesitation. I act as if my soul depends on it, because it does. Know this truth. Indecision is the breeding ground of regret. It is the mother of missed opportunities and wasted talents. The man who delays decides to remain ordinary. The man who commits decides to become legend. The world may call you reckless. They may whisper that you are foolhardy. But heed not the crowd that fears your fire. The man who fears nothing is feared by all who fear. The man who decides boldly reshapes worlds. You were not created to be timid. You were not designed to flinch. You were born to lead, to build, to break barriers, and to rule with faith. Remove doubt as a man removes weeds from a field. Destroy it before it can choke the promise in your heart. Destroy hesitation before it poisons your mind. The man who moves with unwavering decision walks with divine armor. The moment you decide, your mind bends, your will hardens, your steps quicken. Your faith becomes a magnet for the tools, the people, and the circumstances needed for your victory. Look again to history. How many great men faltered at the crossroad of decision? None. How many gave up when the moment demanded finality? None. And how many others, just a breath braver, stepped forward and claimed the mantle? All of them. Your time is now. Your decision is the key. Your obedience is the lock. Make this your vow. I choose my purpose now. I remove all plan Bs. I move as the man who cannot lose. When you do, You will know the strange peace of a man who has handed his future over to infinite intelligence and received a promise in return. Your God-given favor now walks with you. Your path is set. Your destiny awaits. You must cultivate a fanaticism about your aim. It must be the first thing you think of when you wake, and the last thing you think of when you sleep. You must become a monomaniac for your own success. The world will try to distract you. It will offer you cheap entertainment, petty dramas, and meaningless obligations. You must learn to say no. Every yes to a distraction is a no to your definite chief aim. You are a sniper, not a machine gunner. You have one target. Aim true. Keep your counsel. Do not share your aim with those who will mock it. Protect it like a flame in the wind. Nurture it in the silence of your own soul, until it grows into a fire so hot that no criticism can extinguish it. This is the way of the chosen. This is the path of the master. Define your aim, burn your ships, and do not stop until you arrive. Before we reveal the posture of a king in the next section, I have a question for you. Are you walking this path alone? Napoleon Hill taught us that no mind is complete by itself. You need a mastermind alliance. I invite you to make this channel your digital alliance. If you are serious about claiming your birthright and stopping the drift, click the subscribe button right now. Do not just watch. Join the ranks of the chosen. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a lesson in self-mastery. Now, let us discuss how a king carries himself. We have awakened your spirit, and we have defined your definite chief aim, but a paper plan is worthless if it is carried by a frightened messenger. You can have the greatest idea in the world, but if you present it with a trembling hand and a stammering voice, the world will reject it. This brings us to the most visible aspect of your transformation, which is your posture. I am not merely talking about the alignment of your spine or the position of your shoulders, though those things matter. I am talking about the posture of your soul. I am talking about the invisible atmosphere you carry into a room before you even speak a word. You must understand that the world judges you by your own estimate of yourself. If you sell yourself cheap, the world will buy you cheap. If you walk as if you are apologizing for your existence, the world will treat you like an inconvenience. But if you present yourself as a person of value, dignity, and divine assignment, the world will pay your price without negotiation. This is the law of value. You set the price tag on your own life. Most men walk through life with the posture of a beggar. They are constantly looking for approval. They are constantly checking to see if they are allowed to be in the room. They slouch physically because they are slouching spiritually. They are trying to take up as little space as possible so as not to offend anyone. This is the behavior of the drifter. The chosen man, the man who has accepted his mandate, walks with the posture of a king. This does not mean he is a tyrant. It does not mean he is cruel. It means he possesses a sovereign certainty about who he is and why he is here. He does not ask for respect. He commands it by his very bearing. Look at the way a lion moves through the savannah. It does not rush. It does not look over its shoulder in fear. It moves with a terrifying calm because it knows its power. You must cultivate this same energy. You must learn to walk into a meeting, into a negotiation, or into your own home with the energy of a man who has already won. You must understand the psychological principle of the mirror. The world is nothing more than a giant mirror reflecting your own self-image back to you. If you believe you are unworthy, you will unconsciously signal this to everyone you meet. You will avoid eye contact. You will speak with a weak voice. You will hesitate when you should act. And people, picking up on these subtle signals, will treat you as unworthy. They will interrupt you. They will overlook you. They will underpay you. And then you will say that the world is unfair. The world is not unfair. The world is reactive. It is reacting to the instructions you are giving it through your posture. You must change the instructions. You must change the signal. This requires a radical reconstruction of your self-image. You must begin to see yourself not as who you were, but as who you are becoming. Let us look to history for a lesson in this. Consider Abraham Lincoln before he ascended to the presidency. By all modern metrics, he was a failure. He was bankrupt. He was defeated in multiple elections. He had lost the love of his life. He faced depression and ridicule. Yet, those who knew him spoke of a strange dignity that surrounded him. He walked with the heavy, deliberate steps of a man who carried a destiny. He did not shrink from his burdens. He did not complain about his bad luck. He carried himself with a quiet, melancholic power. He walked as if the fate of the Union was already resting on his shoulders long before he took the oath of office. He did not wait for the title to adopt the posture. He adopted the posture, and the title followed. This is the secret you must grasp. You do not wait for success to give you confidence. You use confidence to drag success into your reality. You must differentiate clearly between arrogance and confidence. This is where many go wrong. Arrogance is noise. Arrogance is the weak man's imitation of strength. Arrogance screams because it is afraid of not being heard. It demands attention. It belittles others to make itself feel big. That is not the posture of a king. That is the posture of a frightened child. True confidence is silence. It is the absence of the need to prove anything. The king does not need to tell you he is the king. You know it by the way the atmosphere shifts when he enters the room. True power is calm. It is steady. It is the ability to remain composed when everything around you is in chaos. When you carry yourself with this kind of quiet, unshakable faith, people are instinctively drawn to you. They sense a stability in you that they lack in themselves. They will follow you not because you force them, but because your certainty gives them safety. How do you build this posture? You build it through the principle of auto-suggestion. You must re-engineer your subconscious mind. You must feed it commands of power until it believes them. Every morning, you must stand before the mirror and look yourself in the eye. Do not look at your flaws. Do not look at your tired eyes. Look deeper. Look at the spirit within the shell. And you must speak to yourself with authority. You must say that I am chosen. You must say that I am anointed. You must say that I walk in favor. It sounds strange to the logical mind. The logical mind will tell you that you are lying. But the subconscious mind is not logical. It is literal. If you tell it you are a failure, it will believe you. If you tell it you are a king, it will believe you. You must hypnotize yourself with the truth before the world hypnotizes you with lies. Walk into every situation as if you own the outcome. This is what we call acting as if. It is not faking it. It is practicing it. When you are terrified, stand taller. When you are uncertain, speak more slowly. When you feel like running away, plant your feet firmly. Your body communicates with your brain. If you force your body to adopt the posture of courage, your brain will flood your system with the neurochemistry of courage. You can change your emotional state in an instant simply by changing your physiology. Do not slouch beneath the weight of doubt. Stand up. Shoulders back. Chest open. Eyes forward. This is how the chosen man meets his destiny. He does not hide. He presents himself to the universe and says, "Here I am, use me." There is a spiritual dimension to this as well. When you walk with dignity, you are honoring the Creator who made you. To walk in shame is to insult the architect of your soul. It is to say that God made a mistake. But to walk in pride, not the pride of ego, but the pride of self-respect, is a form of worship. You are acknowledging that you are a vessel of infinite intelligence. You are a steward of divine power. And a steward does not disgrace his master by looking like a defeated servant. He represents his master with excellence. Your confidence is your armor. It protects you from the arrows of criticism. When you know who you are, the insults of others simply bounce off you. You realize that their criticism is not about you, it is about their own limitations. The lion does not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. You must detach yourself from the need for external validation. The only validation you need comes from the voice within and the results you produce. You may be tempted to hide your light. You may be tempted to play small so that others do not feel insecure around you. That is false humility. It is a lie. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. When you adopt the posture of a king, you liberate others to stand tall as well. You become a standard bearer. You show people what is possible when a man aligns himself with his purpose. Do not underestimate the power of your presence. There are people who are waiting for you to stand up so that they can know it is possible for them to stand up. Your posture is a ministry. It is a sermon preached without words. Beware of the drift that comes from casual environments. It is easy to lower your standards when you are around people who have no standards. You must maintain your internal royalty, even when you are in the company of jesters. Do not let the environment change you. You change the environment. You must carry your own atmosphere with you wherever you go. This requires constant vigilance. It requires you to catch yourself when you start to slump, when you start to mumble, when you start to avert your eyes. Correct yourself immediately. Snap back into the frame of the chosen. The world respects the man who respects himself. If you disrespect your calling by walking weakly, you invite others to disrespect you as well. But if you stand with moral power, with self-command, with faith that shines through your very skin, you become an immovable pillar. I challenge you today to conduct an experiment. For the next 24 hours, walk exactly as the person you intend to become. If you intend to be a CEO, walk like one today. If you intend to be a leader of nations, carry that weight today. Do not wait for the election. Do not wait for the promotion. Be it now. Watch how the world changes around you. Watch how people move out of your way. Watch how doors open. Watch how the tone of conversations changes. You are broadcasting a new frequency, and the universe is tuning in. You are no longer a static signal. You are a clear, high-definition broadcast of power. This is the posture of the king. It is the outward expression of an inward victory. But remember that the true king is the servant of all. Your posture is not for dominance, it is for service. You stand tall so you can lift others up. You are strong so you can carry the burdens of the weak. The higher you rise in your posture, the lower you must reach in your service. This is the paradox of power that keeps you balanced. If you have posture without service, you become a villain. If you have service without posture, you become a doormat. You must combine the two. You must be the warrior poet, the servant king. You must be dangerous enough to command respect and humble enough to serve the needs of humanity. This is the balance of the chosen. So rise now, adjust your spine, lift your chin, fix your eyes on the horizon. Do not look down at the mud. Look up at the stars. Walk with the rhythm of greatness. Speak with the cadence of conviction. Let every step be a prayer. Let every gesture be a command. You are not an accident. You are a divine strategy. Carry yourself like one. The world is watching. Heaven is watching. And most importantly, your own subconscious mind is watching. Show them all who you really are. Show them the posture of a king. We have discussed your awakening. We have defined your chief aim, and we have corrected your posture. Now we arrive at the engine of your success. We must address the ironclad law that governs all financial and spiritual accumulation. It is the law of compensation. Most people view this law with suspicion or ignorance, yet it is as constant as gravity. Gravity does not care if you are a good person or a bad person. If you step off a ledge, you will fall. The law of compensation does not care about your needs or your wishes. It cares only about what you give. This brings us to the most misunderstood secret of wealth, which is the law of service. Napoleon Hill called this the habit of going the extra mile. I call it the rent you pay for the space you occupy on this earth. You want prosperity, you want the favor of God, you want the respect of your peers, but you are likely asking the wrong question. You are asking, what can I get from this world? You must stop asking that immediately and start asking, what can I give to this world? Prosperity is not a lottery win. It is not a stroke of luck. It is the cold, hard result of a mathematical formula that never fails. We call this formula QS. It stands for quality, quantity, and spirit. Your rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to the quality of the service you render, plus the quantity of the service you render, plus the spirit in which you render it. You must memorize this. You must tattoo it on your consciousness. Let us break this down because your financial future depends entirely on your understanding of these three pillars. First is quality. This means excellence. It means doing your work in the most efficient, effective, and masterful way possible. It means constant improvement. Most people do just enough to not get fired. They deliver mediocrity and wonder why they live a mediocre life. You must become obsessed with mastery. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. If you sweep floors, sweep them like Michelangelo painted ceilings. If you write code, write it like Shakespeare wrote sonnets. Quality means that you are reliable, accurate, and skilled. But quality alone is not enough. You can be the best in the world at something, but if you only do it once a year, you will starve. This brings us to quantity. This refers to the volume of service you render. It is the habit of industry. It is the willingness to work long hours, to produce more value, to serve more people. You must be prolific. You must be willing to outwork everyone around you. But here is the trap. You can have high quality and high quantity and still fail miserably. I have seen men who are brilliant at their craft and who work 18 hours a day, yet they die broken alone. Why? Because they lack the third and most important factor. The third factor is spirit. This is the conduct, the attitude, and the personality you bring to your work. This is the multiplier. You can be the smartest person in the room, you can work the hardest, but if you are arrogant, greedy, or unpleasant, you will repel opportunity. The spirit in which you serve determines whether people want to help you or hinder you. An agreeable personality is a magnetic force. When you serve with enthusiasm, when you serve with a genuine desire to help others, when you serve without complaint, you create a spiritual debt that the universe is obligated to repay. A smile, a kind word, and a genuine interest in the problems of others can do more for your bank account than a college degree. Consider the story of the young woman who started as a stenographer, earning a mere $15 a week. She was not the most talented typist. She was not the most educated employee, but she understood QS. She made it her business to arrive early and leave late. That was quantity. She made sure every letter was perfect. That was quality. But most importantly, she looked for ways to lift the burden from her employer. When he was stressed, she anticipated his needs. She served with a smile. She did not say, "That is not my job." She said, "How can I help?" She worked with a spirit of partnership. Within a few short years, she became indispensable. She did not have to ask for a raise. The raise chased her. She eventually managed the entire firm and retired with a fortune. What changed her destiny? It was not luck. It was the law of compensation. She paid the price in service, so she collected the reward in gold. Many of you are holding back. You are negotiating with the stove. You are standing in front of the fireplace of life saying, "Give me heat and then I will give you wood." You fool. That is not how nature works. You must put the wood in first. You must light the match. You must tend the fire. Only then do you get the heat. You are saying, "I will work hard when they pay me more." You will never be paid more with that attitude because you are violating the sequence of the law. You must render the service first. You must pile up the wood of service until the fire of prosperity is so hot it cannot be contained. You must become so valuable that the world cannot ignore you. The law of compensation never fails. It may be delayed, but it is never denied. This is a critical distinction. Sometimes you will serve and see no immediate return. The paycheck does not increase next week. The recognition does not come next month. This is the testing period. This is where the drifter quits. The drifter says, "I tried and it didn't work." But the chosen man knows that the delay is merely interest accumulating. When the payout finally comes, it comes as a flood. It comes pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Money is simply the world's applause for service well rendered. It is the echo of value. If you want a louder echo, you must shout a louder value. You must adopt the habit of going the extra mile. This means always doing more than you are paid for. Why would you do that? Why would you work for free? Because the space between what you are paid to do and what you actually do is where your character is built. It is where you earn your promotion. If you only do what you are paid to do, you do not earn the right to promotion. You have only paid for your keep. But when you exceed the expectation, you put the universe in your debt. You force the law of equilibrium to kick in. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you give more value than you are receiving in money, nature must fill that vacuum with opportunity, connections, and eventual wealth. Identify one area in your life today. Is it your job? Is it your business? Is it your leadership in your family? Decide right now to exceed every expectation in that area. Shock people with your excellence. Do not do it for their praise. Do not do it for the money. Do it for your own self-respect. Do it because you are a master of your craft. When you work with this level of intensity and generosity, you act as a magnet. People are drawn to excellence because it is so rare. We live in a world of shortcuts. We live in a world of minimum effort. When you refuse to take shortcuts, you stand out like a lighthouse in a storm. Understand this deeply. Prosperity is a spiritual reward for the man who lifts burdens from others. Every business is essentially a problem-solving engine. If you solve small problems, you make small money. If you solve big problems, you make big money. If you solve huge problems for millions of people, you make millions of dollars. Your income is directly related to the difficulty of the problems you are willing to handle. The chosen man does not run from problems. He runs toward them. He says, "Give me the heavy load." He says, "Give me the difficult client." He says, "Give me the impossible deadline." He knows that by carrying the heavy load, he gets stronger. He knows that the friction of the challenge is polishing his soul. Money is not the root of all evil. That is a misquote and a lie used to keep good people poor. The love of money over principle is evil, but money itself is neutral. It is a tool. It is stored energy. To despise wealth is to despise the law that governs life itself. To resent success is to reject the blessings intended for you. If you act with faith, obedience, and excellence in your service, you will become a pipeline for prosperity. The world will open doors for you. Opportunities will appear. Friends will gather. You do not need to chase riches. You need to become the kind of person that riches are compelled to follow. Look at the titans of industry. Look at the great humanitarians. They all shared this one trait. They were servants. Andrew Carnegie spent the first half of his life accumulating wealth through fierce service, and the second half giving it away. He understood the flow. You cannot hold your breath forever. You must inhale and exhale. Service is the exhale. Wealth is the inhale. If you stop serving, you suffocate. You must keep the energy moving. I want you to conduct an audit of your service right now. Look at your QS. Is your quality the best it can be, or are you cutting corners? Is your quantity sufficient, or are you lazy? Is your spirit magnetic, or are you repelling people with your negativity? Be honest. The truth will set you free, but first it might make you miserable. That misery is good. Use it. Let it drive you to improve. Raise the standard of your work so high that you have no competition. Be the only one who does what you do with the level of love and detail that you apply. Remember that every mighty empire, every great fortune, and every lasting legacy began with a single man or woman who decided to serve with faith and power. They took up the burden no one else would bear. They gave without fear or hesitation. You must now join their ranks. You must become a man sent on assignment. Your assignment is service rendered with excellence, faith, and persistence. Today, do not just do your job. Attack your job. Elevate your job. Transform your job into a work of art. Let your service speak for itself. Let your obedience be your testimony. Let your faith shine through the work of your hands. Say this once more to anchor it in your mind. I serve because I am chosen. I give because I am favored. I prosper because I am faithful. Move now. Serve with all your heart and watch as divine favor multiplies your efforts beyond measure. You are planting seeds today that will feed generations. Do not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. The harvest is guaranteed by the law. The only variable is your labor. Go to work, go the extra mile, and let the law of compensation do the rest. We have now arrived at the fortress wall of your destiny. You have done the internal work. You have awakened your spirit, authorized your success, defined your aim, corrected your posture, and committed to the law of service. You are like a seed of the finest quality, full of potential and ready to sprout. But here is the terrifying truth that destroys more dreams than lack of talent ever could. If you take the finest seed in the world and plant it in toxic soil, it will die. If you plant it in the desert, it will wither. If you plant it among weeds, it will be choked. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. This is a hard law to accept because we like to believe we are independent agents, but we are not. We are porous beings. We absorb the energy, the beliefs, and the limitations of the people and the places that surround us. You cannot hold a high vibration of success if you are constantly immersed in a low vibration of failure. You must guard your circle, and you must engineer your environment. This brings us to the mastermind principle. It is the central pillar of all great accumulation of power. No mind is complete by itself. The human brain is a form of battery. When a battery is left alone, it holds a certain charge. But when you connect several batteries together, the power multiplies. When two or more minds come together in a spirit of perfect harmony to achieve a definite purpose, they create a third, invisible mind. This is the mastermind. It is a separate intelligence that is greater than the sum of its parts. You can see this in history. Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb alone. He had a circle of chemists and engineers who harmonized with his vision. Henry Ford did not build his empire alone. He surrounded himself with men who supplied the specialized knowledge he lacked. They tapped into a collective power that allowed them to bend reality to their will. You are trying to build your life alone. You are trying to figure it all out by yourself. This is why you are exhausted. This is why you are moving slowly. You are trying to push a boulder up a hill when you could be leveraging the power of a team to lift it. But before you can build a mastermind, you must first audit your current environment. This requires a ruthless honesty that most people avoid. You must look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. They are not just people. They are prophecies of your future. You are the average of their incomes. You are the average of their health. You are the average of their vocabulary. You are the average of their faith. If you are the smartest person in your room, you are in the wrong room. You are shrinking to fit the container you are in. If your friends mock your ambition, they are not friends, they are anchors. If they constantly talk about other people instead of ideas, they are poisoning your mind with gossip. If they complain about the economy instead of creating their own economy, they are infecting you with the virus of victimhood. You must understand the concept of psychic contagion. Just as you can catch a cold from someone who sneezes on you, you can catch a poverty mindset from someone who complains to you. You can catch fear from a coward. You can catch doubt from a skeptic. These mental states are contagious. They travel through the ether of conversation and body language. You might think you are immune, but you are not. If you stay in a smoke-filled room long enough, you will smell like smoke. If you stay among drifters long enough, you will begin to drift. You must protect your mind like a king guards his treasury. You would not let a thief walk into your home and steal your furniture. Yet you let negative people walk into your mind and steal your dreams, your confidence, and your peace. This must stop today. You are on a divine assignment. You are carrying a mandate from infinite intelligence. This mission requires you to be distinct. It requires you to be separated. You cannot afford the luxury of negative relationships. This sounds harsh, but you must value your destiny more than you value your history with people who refuse to grow. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to walk away. By walking away, you refuse to validate their mediocrity. You refuse to participate in their drifting. You show them by your absence that there is a higher standard. Do not try to change them. You cannot change people who do not want to change. You can only inspire them by your own transformation. And often that transformation requires distance. So how do you build this mastermind? How do you find the right environment? You must become a hunter of excellence. You must actively seek out people who are playing the game of life at a higher level than you are. You need allies, not just buddies. A buddy is someone who accepts you as you are and helps you stay comfortable. An ally is someone who sees who you can become and challenges you to grow. An ally will not let you settle. An ally will hold you to your word. An ally will tell you the hard truth when you need to hear it. You need a covenant relationship, a sacred agreement between souls to lift each other up. If you cannot find these people in your physical town, you must find them in the library. You must find them in history. You must find them in the digital world. Make the great men and women of the past your invisible counselors. Read their biographies until you know how they think. When you read the words of Lincoln or Carnegie or Emerson, you are communing with their spirits. You are letting their high-grade thoughts wash over your mind. This is a form of mastermind. You are raising your frequency to match theirs. Eventually, as you change your vibration, living people who match that new vibration will appear in your life. This is the law of attraction in action. Like attracts like. If you want lions, you must become a lion. If you stay a sheep, you will only attract wolves. Conduct an audit of your circle today. Who drains you? Who inspires you? Who do you leave feeling lighter? Who do you leave feeling heavy? You must begin the painful but necessary process of pruning. You do not have to be cruel. You can simply be unavailable. You are busy building a kingdom. You are busy executing a divine mandate. You do not have time for idle chatter. You do not have time for petty dramas. Your time is the currency of your life, and you must spend it with the highest possible return on investment. Solitude is better than poison. It is better to walk alone in the right direction than to follow the herd over a cliff. Do not be afraid of the lonely season. That is your incubation period. That is when you are forging your new identity. The mastermind is not just about getting, it is about giving. You must bring value to the table. You cannot join a group of high achievers and expect a free ride. You must have something to offer. This goes back to the law of compensation. Bring your enthusiasm. Bring your specialized knowledge. Bring your loyalty. When you enter a mastermind alliance, you are pledging to help the others succeed just as much as you want to succeed. This unselfish spirit is the glue that holds the alliance together. When everyone is giving, everyone receives multiplied returns. It is a fusion reactor of human potential. Beware of the saboteurs in your midst. Often the people closest to you will be the ones who try to pull you back down. They do not do this out of malice, they do it out of fear. When you start to rise, you hold up a mirror to their stagnation. Your growth makes them feel inadequate, so they will try to humble you. They will remind you of your past failures. They will tell you to be realistic. They will say you are changing, as if change is a bad thing. Recognize this for what it is. It is the cry of the drifter who is afraid of being left behind. Love them, forgive them, but do not listen to them. Put cotton in your ears when the doubters speak. Your assignment is too important to be derailed by the insecurities of others. You must create a physical environment that reflects where you are going, not where you have been. Look at your desk, look at your car, look at your home. Is it ordered? Is it clean? Is it inspiring? Chaos in your environment creates chaos in your mind. Order in your environment creates order in your mind. You cannot build a masterpiece in a messy workshop. Clean your space, remove the clutter, surround yourself with images of your definite chief aim. Make your physical world a temple of focus. When you walk into your workspace, it should trigger a state of flow. It should signal to your subconscious that serious work is about to happen. Remember that the battle for your mind is the battle for your destiny. Those who control the inputs control the outputs. If you let the world program your mind with news of disaster and gossip of decay, you will produce a life of anxiety and failure. But if you program your mind with the wisdom of the ages and the association of high-minded people, you will produce a life of power and purpose. You are the gatekeeper. You stand at the door of your own consciousness. You decide who enters and who stays outside. Be ruthless in your guarding. Be selective in your choosing. The mastermind is the secret weapon of the chosen. It is the lever that moves the world. One man is a force, but a team is a phenomenon. Find your tribe. Find the people who speak the language of vision. Find the people who run towards the fire. And when you find them, hold them close, serve them, protect them, build with them. Together you will create a momentum that no obstacle can withstand. You are not meant to walk this path alone. You are meant to walk it in the company of kings and queens, but you must qualify for that company. You qualify by purifying your own spirit and by refusing to tolerate anything less than excellence in your environment. Look around you. If you do not see the future you want, look away. Close your eyes and build it within. Then find the hands that will help you build it without. The choice is yours. The environment is yours to command. Step out of the drift and into the circle of power. We have arrived at the final seal of your destiny. We have traveled a long road together in this presentation. We have awakened your spirit from the drift. We have secured the divine sanction for your success. We have defined your chief aim, corrected your posture, and committed to the law of service. We have even built the fortress of the mastermind to protect you. But all of this, every single word we have spoken, will be utterly useless and eventually forgotten unless we secure it with the most powerful law in the universe. This is the law that keeps the stars in their courses and the planets in their orbits. It is the law that dictates that an acorn must become an oak and never a pine. It is the law of cosmic habit force. You must understand that you are what you repeat. This is not a cliché. It is a biological and spiritual fact. Most people think of habits as small things like brushing their teeth or drinking coffee. They do not realize that their entire personality, their financial status, and their spiritual condition are nothing more than a bundle of habits held together by this cosmic glue. You do not decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Cosmic habit force is the mechanism by which your actions become permanent. It is the universe's way of automating existence. Nature hates chaos, and it hates wasted energy. So, when you think a thought or perform an action repeatedly, nature steps in and says, "Let me make this easier for you." It takes that conscious effort and hands it over to the subconscious mind. It turns a struggle into a pattern. It turns a pattern into a habit, and it turns a habit into a destiny. This works for you or against you with equal force. If you drift, if you procrastinate, if you doubt, cosmic habit force takes those behaviors and makes them permanent. It locks you into a hypnotic rhythm of failure. This is why the poor get poorer and the sad get sadder. They have habituated their misery. But the chosen man uses this law to lock in his success. He forces himself to act with courage until courage becomes automatic. He forces himself to be disciplined until discipline becomes his natural state. You must stop looking for motivation. Motivation is a trap. It is a fleeting emotion that comes and goes like the wind. You cannot build a castle on the wind. You must build on the bedrock of ritual. The chosen man does not rely on how he feels. He relies on his sacred routines. You need to understand that every time you repeat an action, you are carving a groove in your brain. You are strengthening a neural pathway. At first, it is like hacking a path through a dense jungle with a machete. It is hard. It is exhausting. You want to quit. This is where most men fail. They stop hacking before the path is clear. But if you keep walking that path day after day, regardless of your feelings, the jungle recedes. The dirt packs down. Eventually, it becomes a paved highway. And once it is a highway, you can travel it with speed and ease. That is the moment cosmic habit force takes over. The struggle disappears, and the behavior becomes part of who you are. We must speak of the necessity of sacred rituals. You must design your days so that success is inevitable. This begins with your morning. The way you start your day is the rudder that steers the ship. If you wake up and immediately look at your phone, scrolling through the agendas of other people, you have already lost. You have given the best hours of your brain to the chaos of the world. The chosen man has a morning ritual that is non-negotiable. He rises early. He reads his definite chief aim aloud with emotion. He visualizes his victory. He exercises his body to generate energy. He does these things not because he always wants to, but because he knows that by doing them, he is priming the pump of cosmic habit force. He is telling the universe that today will be a day of purpose, not a day of drift. You must fight for your morning. You must protect it. It is the holy ground where you meet your potential. But it is not just about the morning. It is about the discipline of the check-in. You must institute a habit of evening review. Before you sleep, you must look at your day with the cold eye of a judge. Did I move toward my goal? Did I drift? Did I serve? Did I complain? You must be your own auditor. If you failed, do not wallow in guilt. Guilt is a wasted emotion. Simply acknowledge the error, learn the lesson, and resolve to be better tomorrow. This nightly review prevents you from drifting off course for too long. A ship that corrects its course every mile arrives at its destination. A ship that never corrects its course ends up on the rocks. This habit of self-examination is what separates the master from the amateur. The amateur hopes he is doing well. The master knows exactly how he is doing because he checks the data every single night. You must also understand that your subconscious mind, which controls this force, speaks the language of emotion. Repetition without emotion is merely robotic motion. It has very little power. But repetition charged with faith, charged with desire, charged with gratitude that is atomic. When you read your definite chief aim, do not just mumble the words, feel them. See yourself already in possession of the goal. Feel the texture of the victory. Smell the air of your new life. Emotionalized thought is the most powerful force in the universe. It impresses the command upon the subconscious mind instantly. You must become a master of generating these emotions on command. Do not wait for something good to happen to feel good. Feel good first, and you compel good things to happen. You are the generator, not the thermometer. This force also applies to your resilience. You must build the habit of getting back up. Failure is inevitable. It is a part of the process. But the habit of staying down is a choice. You must train your mind so that the moment you are knocked down, you bounce back up automatically. It should be a reflex, like blinking. Defeat is only a temporary detour, not a dead end. When you view failure through the lens of cosmic habit force, you realize that every failure is just a test of your persistence. Nature is asking you, how bad do you want it? Are you going to quit now, or are you going to force the universe to yield? The man who refuses to quit, who makes persistence a habit, eventually wears down the resistance of the world. The world steps aside for the man who keeps coming. You are building a legacy of habits. What you do today echoes into eternity. If you build habits of laziness and fear, you pass those on to your children. You teach them, by your example, that life is something to be endured, not commanded. But if you build habits of power, discipline, and faith, you give them a platform to stand on. You break the generational curse of drifting. This is why you cannot afford to take a day off from your character. You are always training. You are always building. You are either feeding the drift or feeding the destiny. There is no neutral ground. Every thought is a vote. Every action is a brick. What are you building? Let this be the final truth that anchors you. You have within you a power that is connected to the very source of creation. Cosmic habit force is God's gift to you, to help you create your own reality. Do not misuse it. Do not let it lock you into a life of smallness. Seize the controls. Establish your rituals. Demand obedience from your own mind. Repeat the truth until the lie disappears. Repeat the courage until the fear dissolves. Repeat the action until the result manifests. You are the architect. The blueprint is in your hand. The tools are at your feet. The mortar of cosmic habit force is ready to be mixed. Do not leave this presentation and go back to your old life. That life is dead. You have outgrown it. You have seen too much to go back to sleep. The alarm has rung. The day has broken. The work begins now. Commit to your rituals. Commit to your aim. Commit to your posture. And let the great wheel of the universe turn in your favor. You are chosen. You are ready. And now, through the power of your own habits, you are inevitable. Go forth and let your life be the proof of the power that lies within you. The drift is over. The mandate is claimed. The legacy begins today. You must also understand that your subconscious mind, which controls this force, speaks the language of emotion. Repetition without emotion is merely robotic motion. It has very little power. But repetition charged with faith, charged with desire, charged with gratitude, that is, atomic. When you read your definite chief aim, do not just mumble the words, feel them. See yourself already in possession of the goal. Feel the texture of the victory. Smell the air of your new life. Emotionalized thought is the most powerful force in the universe. It impresses the command upon the subconscious mind instantly. You must become a master of generating these emotions on command. Do not wait for something good to happen to feel good. Feel good first, and you compel good things to happen. You are the generator, not the thermometer. This force also applies to your resilience. You must build the habit of getting back up. Failure is inevitable. It is a part of the process. But the habit of staying down is a choice. You must train your mind so that the moment you are knocked down, you bounce back up automatically. It should be a reflex, like blinking. Defeat is only a temporary detour, not a dead end. When you view failure through the lens of cosmic habit force, you realize that every failure is just a test of your persistence. Nature is asking you, how bad do you want it? Are you going to quit now? Or are you going to force the universe to yield? The man who refuses to quit, who makes persistence a habit, eventually wears down the resistance of the world. The world steps aside for the man who keeps coming. You are building a legacy of habits. What you do today echoes into eternity. If you build habits of laziness and fear, you pass those on to your children. You teach them, by your example, that life is something to be endured, not commanded. But if you build habits of power, discipline, and faith, you give them a platform to stand on. You break the generational curse of drifting. This is why you cannot afford to take a day off from your character. You are always training. You are always building. You are either feeding the drift or feeding the destiny. There is no neutral ground. Every thought is a vote. Every action is a brick. What are you building? Let this be the final truth that anchors you. You have within you a power that is connected to the very source of creation. Cosmic habit force is God's gift to you to help you create your own reality. Do not misuse it. Do not let it lock you into a life of smallness. Seize the controls. Establish your rituals. Demand obedience from your own mind. Repeat the truth until the lie disappears. Repeat the courage until the fear dissolves. Repeat the action until the result manifests. You are the architect. The blueprint is in your hand. The tools are at your feet. The mortar of cosmic habit force is ready to be mixed. Do not leave this presentation and go back to your old life. That life is dead. You have outgrown it. You have seen too much to go back to sleep. The alarm has rung. The day has broken. The work begins now. Commit to your rituals. Commit to your aim. Commit to your posture. And let the great wheel of the universe turn in your favor. You are chosen. You are ready. And now, through the power of your own habits, you are inevitable. Go forth and let your life be the proof of the power that lies within you. The drift is over. The mandate is claimed. The legacy begins today. We have reached the end of words and arrived at the beginning of deeds. We have traveled a great distance together in this presentation. We have stripped away the layers of excuse and fear that have covered your potential. We have looked into the face of the drifter and recognized him for the enemy he is. We have unlocked the divine sanction that permits you to win. We have forged the steel of your definite chief aim. We have straightened your spine into the posture of a king. We have committed to the law of service and protected your mind with the fortress of the mastermind. And we have sealed it all with the cosmic force of habit. Now there is nothing left to learn. There is only one thing left to do. You must decide. You are standing at the most dangerous point of the entire journey. This is the moment where knowledge either transforms into power or rots into regret. Most men will listen to a message like this, feel a temporary surge of emotion, nod their heads in agreement, and then walk right back into the cage of their old lives. They will treat this truth as entertainment rather than a roadmap. They will allow the hypnotic rhythm of their mediocrity to pull them back into the deep sleep of the drift. Do not let that happen to you. You must understand that knowing the path and walking the path are two different things. Knowledge without action is a curse. To know that you are chosen and yet to live as if you are forgotten is the ultimate tragedy. It is better to be ignorant of your power than to be aware of it and refuse to use it. Ignorance allows for a certain kind of innocent bliss, but conscious disobedience creates a war within the soul. If you walk away from this moment without making a fundamental change, you will not just return to your old life. You will return to a life that is now haunted by the ghost of the person you could have become. You will see opportunities and know you should take them, but fear will hold you back, and the pain of that hesitation will be sharper than before. You cannot unsee the truth. You cannot unhear the call. You are ruined for the ordinary. You have been awakened, and to close your eyes now is a sin against your own nature. This brings us to the final vow. This is not a New Year's resolution that is made lightly and broken by February. This is a blood covenant with your own future. It is a vow that separates your past from your destiny. In ancient times, when a king was crowned, he took an oath to serve his people and uphold the law. You are the king of your own life, and today is your coronation. But a crown is heavy. It requires a neck strong enough to bear it. The vow you are about to make requires you to kill the old version of yourself. This is the part that scares people. They want the new life, but they want to keep the comforts of the old life. It is impossible. You cannot have the butterfly and the caterpillar at the same time. The caterpillar must cease to exist so the butterfly can fly. You must be willing to preside over the funeral of the drifter. You must say goodbye to the version of you that seeks approval, the version of you that fears criticism, the version of you that waits for permission. Imagine for a moment that it is the last day of your life. You are lying on your deathbed, and the room is quiet. The time for action is gone. The time for excuses is over. Standing around your bed are the ghosts of the ideas you never acted on. Standing there are the talents you never used. Standing there are the dreams you never pursued. They are looking at you with large, angry eyes. And they are saying that we came to you for life, but you refused us, and now we must die with you forever. That is the definition of hell. Hell is not a place of fire and brimstone. Hell is meeting the person you could have become and realizing you never met him while you were alive. Do not build that hell for yourself. Build a heaven of fulfillment. Build a legacy that says, I emptied myself. I gave everything. I held nothing back. I left it all on the field. The vow is a refusal to negotiate with your potential. From this day forward, you must treat your definite chief aim not as a wish, but as a inevitability. When a problem arises, you do not say, maybe I should quit. You say, how do I solve this? The option of quitting is removed from the table. You have burned the ships, you have locked the door and thrown away the key. This level of commitment is terrifying to the weak, but it is liberating to the chosen. When you have no way out, you find a way through. When you decide that you will succeed or die trying, you usually succeed. The universe seems to cherish the man who throws his whole life on the scales of destiny. It opens doors for him that were previously invisible. It connects him with allies he didn't know existed. It bends the laws of probability in his favor. I want you to make this vow with me right now in the sanctuary of your own mind. I want you to say to yourself that I refuse to drift. I refuse to be a spectator in my own life. I refuse to accept less than my divine share of prosperity, happiness, and peace. I vow to serve with excellence. I vow to walk with the posture of a king. I vow to protect my mind from the poison of negativity. I vow to move when I am afraid. I vow to trust the whisper of infinite intelligence over the shouting of the crowd. This is my life. This is my time. This is my mandate. Feel the weight of those words. Let them sink into your bones. Let them rewrite your DNA. You are no longer the person who started watching this presentation. You have been altered by the truth. There will be days when this vow is tested. There will be days when the world hits you hard. There will be days when you feel alone, when the results haven't shown up yet, when the critics are loud and your bank account is quiet. These are not signs to stop. These are the tests of the vow. Nature is asking if you really meant it. Nature is asking if you are just talking or if you are truly committed. In those dark moments, you must go back to this vow. You must stand in the darkness and repeat what you said in the light. Faith is the courage to obey your own command when the emotion has faded. You must be faithful to the vow even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. That is when the real work is done. That is when the character is forged. The world is desperate for leaders. It is starving for men and women who have come alive. Look around you. Look at the faces of the people on the street. They are tired. They are worried. They are drifting. They are looking for someone who knows where they are going. They are looking for a signal. You are that signal. Your life is the message. When you rise, you lift everyone around you. When you break the chains of fear, you show others that the chains are breakable. You are not doing this just for yourself. You are doing this for your family. You are doing this for your community. You are doing this for the generations that will follow you. Your victory will become their inheritance. Your courage will become their standard. Do not let them down. So rise now. The waiting is over. The preparation is complete. The mandate has been delivered. The rest is up to you. Do not ask for a lighter burden. Ask for broader shoulders. Do not ask for an easy path. Ask for the strength to climb the mountain. The view from the top is worth every struggle. The air is cleaner up there. The vision is clearer up there. And that is where you belong. You were not made for the valley of hesitation. You were made for the summit of achievement. Infinite intelligence has bet everything on you. It has invested the spark of divinity in your soul. Do not let that investment go to waste. Go forth from this place with a fire in your belly and a vision in your eye. Walk into your job, walk into your business, walk into your home like a man who has been sent by God. Because you have been. Speak with authority. Act with precision. Love with intensity. And never ever apologize for your ambition. Your ambition is the fuel of your purpose. Let it burn. Let it consume the dross of fear. Let it light the way for others. The drift is finished. The sleeper has awakened. The chosen one has accepted the call. As we part ways, Remember that you are never truly alone. You are walking in the company of the great souls of history who also refuse to drift. You are walking with the support of the laws of the universe. You are walking with the hand of the Creator on your shoulder. You have everything you need. You are everything you need to be. Now, go and prove it. Go and build the life that was written for you before the stars were lit. Go and claim your birthright. The vow is made. The seal is set. The work begins. I am chosen. I am ready. I move, and so it is. You have made the vow, and you have received the mandate. But a vow without maintenance will fade like smoke in the wind. To keep this fire burning, you must feed your mind daily with high-quality thoughts. If this message resonated with your spirit, then do not leave without making a mark. Click the like button to seal your commitment. Click subscribe to ensure you remain in this high-frequency environment. On your screen there is another lesson waiting for you, another key to unlocking the Napoleon Hill philosophy. Click it now. Do not let the drift settle back in. Keep the momentum going. I will see you there.